The Zorak called him the Red Ghost. Not because he was elusive, but because he always came back, covered in someone else's blood. And he laughed while doing it. The Arena of Judgment. Captain Virak of the Zorak Dominion stood 7 feet tall, his scales etched with battle glory, his tusks decorated with bone tokens from 100 worlds. He had cracked human skulls with a single punch, melted armored divisions with nothing but his plasma gauntlet, and gutted warlords from 6 species without blinking. He was the undefeated champion of the Dominion's death rings. A living war god. A beast forged in galactic conquest. So when High Warlord Garduin declared open challenge, to any prisoner brave enough to face Virak in ritual combat, it was meant to be a message. Look what becomes of defiance. Virak waited inside the ring, weapons deactivated to add insult to inevitability. The crowd of alien dignitaries and military leaders jeered, expecting a whimpering prey to be dragged out. Instead, a human strolled into the arena. No armor. No shield. Just a faded Colonial Forces jacket, sleeves ripped, eyes sunken with exhaustion, and something worse. Emptiness. His name was Marcus Wren. And from the way he smirked at Virak, the Dominion knew something was wrong. He didn't look like a soldier. He looked like a man who wanted to die, and hadn't found anything strong enough to kill him yet. What came before the madness? 3 months prior, Marcus had been stationed on Theta 5, a backwater colony with 2 things: mining rights and 0 strategic value. Or so they thought. The Zorak attacked in the dead of night, blitzkrieg dropships, phase lances and Nurogas. 17,000 civilians. 200 military personnel. Marcus made it out with 27 civilians in a broken crawler, dragging his commanding officer's body across 30 kilometers of irradiated tundra. When the evac ship finally came, Marcus was the only one left breathing. The Dominion claimed he'd been captured soon after. That part was true. What they didn't understand was that Marcus didn't fear death. He hated being the last one left. The fight that shouldn't have happened. Virak roared as the human entered. His translator collar barked in acidic tones, "Your bones will honor my breakfast table." Marcus cracked his neck. "Been trying to die for weeks," he muttered. "Let's see if you're worth the wait." Virak's fists ignited with thermal energy, claws humming. He lunged with a snarl that cracked the arena walls, faster than most could blink. Marcus sidestepped. No dodge. No dance. A single step. Then drove his elbow into Virak's throat hard enough to ripple his spine. The crowd went silent. Virak stumbled, coughing. He hadn't even seen the human move. Marcus didn't celebrate. He waited. And when the beast charged again, Marcus let it happen. He caught the swing with one hand, and used Virak's own momentum to dislocate his shoulder. A human. With no armor. No tech. Just rage. And it was winning. Why he fights? In his cell later, bleeding from the nose and knuckles raw, Marcus stared at the ceiling. "You want to die," said a voice in the dark. The translator AI embedded in the walls. "You mask it in valor, but I see it. You fight because you wish for one strong enough to end you." Marcus smiled, not kindly. "I fight because they think we break easy." "And do you not?" "I've been broken," he whispered. And kept going. "That's worse for them." The AI paused. "You beat the Empire's most dangerous weapon. They will not forgive you." "I don't want forgiveness," Marcus said. "I want them to remember me." The Council watches. In orbit above the battle arena, Zorak High Command met in urgent panic. Footage of the fight had already leaked across 4 Dominion sectors. Billions had seen it. The Red Ghost was trending on subspace war networks. Worse, some Zorak warriors began whispering respect. Even reverence. "Humans do not submit," Virak wheezed, still recovering. General Zlok growled, "Then make him disappear." Quietly. But others hesitated. Killing the human now would make him a martyr. Worse, inspire other prisoners. What they didn't know was this. Marcus had planned all of it. From the moment he let himself be captured, he'd wanted one thing. Not escape. An audience. And now he had one. The spark of fear. Marcus was transferred to a high-security black site beneath the ice crust of Haven Prime. Triple guards. Psi-field suppression. 0 external signals. He smiled when he arrived. "Cozy," he said. "How many cameras you got?" The warden scowled. "None that'll save you." "Didn't ask for saving," Marcus replied, sitting calmly. "I just want them to see the next part." "What part?" Marcus tilted his head. "The part where your best warrior wasn't the worst thing you had." Then he went quiet. So quiet the guards eventually assumed sedation. They didn't see him tear a wire from his own food tray and begin picking the lock on his neural cuff with nothing but blood and patience. The message left behind. On the walls of his empty cell, in smeared blood and shattered bone, the human left a phrase. No code. No encryption. Just 4 words. I'm not done yet. The prison's lockdown wasn't triggered by gunfire. It was triggered by a heartbeat. A human one, accelerating just before hell began. Haven Prime, 317 Galactic Standard. They found cell 23 empty. Blood smeared across the walls. No sound. No signal. Just the words, I'm not done yet. The warden, Director Calvez, a 4-armed Gorlan veteran who'd overseen torture pits on over 20 planets, watched the footage on a loop. What am I looking at? He growled to his aides. One replied nervously, Sir. He picked his own neural lock. Then disabled the security drone using a spoon. A spoon? Yes, sir. Sharpened it against the bed frame. He guided the drone into a power relay using its own patrol pattern. And then he vanished into the ventilation system. He's human, the warden barked. He can't survive Haven's cryotunnels unarmored. The aide hesitated. He's not just human, sir. Kelvez squinted. Explain. He's that human. Dominion Black File, Subject Wren. The Zarak Dominion's intelligence ministry had tried to suppress everything about Marcus Wren. Most records were destroyed, redacted, or sealed under triple encryption. But rumors didn't need evidence. They said he once held a mountain pass against 2 armored battalions with nothing but a mining laser and a stolen satellite uplink. They said he deliberately provoked capture so he could tear the Dominion apart from the inside. They said the man wasn't suicidal. He was testing the limits of death itself. And if death didn't oblige, he'd start killing until it begged for peace. The first kill. The security team tracking Marcus through the cryotunnels finally spotted movement. They prepped weapons, pulse rifles, mind harpoons, and cryo grenades. All trained on a narrow corridor. Nothing came through. Then their motion tracker froze. Signal loss, someone yelled. By then it was too late. Marcus dropped from the ceiling. Broke the lead soldier's neck in complete silence. Used the corpse's rifle to down the second. Grabbed the grenade from the third's belt and stuffed it into the creature's breathing apparatus. By the time the rest arrived, it was over. Just a corridor soaked in blood. And a new message, burned into the wall with the rifle's fusion tip. Now it's my turn. What made him this way? Marcus wasn't always like this. Before Theta 5, before the massacre, before the rage, he was human in the normal way. Jokes. Mess hall fights. Letters home. But when he dug 24 graves for people he'd sworn to protect, something inside him broke, and instead of healing, it reformed into something cold and lucid. Not a beast. A tool. And tools have no mercy, only function. His was simple. Make the Dominion hurt. Not with fleets. Not with nukes. But by being the nightmare that crawled through their perfect systems and whispered, You started this. Escalation protocols. Kelvez launched full lockdown. Doors sealed. Atmospheric purge engaged. Hunter-killer mechs activated. No trace of Wren. At first. Then the lights started dying. One by one. Like someone knew exactly how the circuits were mapped. The mech stopped receiving commands. One even turned on its own unit, slashing apart 2 Zarak enforcers with a smiley face painted on its visor. Marcus didn't just escape. He'd hijacked the entire prison system. The AI voice crackled to life across the intercom. It was human calm. Hi, Warden. I hope you're watching. Kelvez leaned forward. I want you to remember something, Marcus continued. I didn't come here to get free. I came here to find out where your fleet command lives. The truth in the darkness. Deep beneath Haven Prime, a data vault stored Dominion targeting intel. Star maps. Ship logs. Deployment schematics. All under quantum lock. It wasn't supposed to be hackable. Until Marcus got there. He didn't need a decryption key. He brought his own war-scraped AI, hidden in a neural implant, masked by scars and broken tech. It interfaced with the vault in seconds. The security demon tried to resist. Wren smiled. You can't stop me, he whispered. You don't know what I've seen. Within minutes he had it all. The Dominion didn't just lose a prisoner. They'd handed him the blueprints to their empire. What's left behind? When the Dominion fleet arrived at Haven Prime, they expected a rescue op. What they found was a ruin. A glacier cracked in half. Cryo towers melted. Every security file scrubbed. And one message playing on a loop. A human's voice. Cold steady. This is Marcus Wren. You took my world, my friends, my soul. I'm not here for justice. I'm here for pain. Then a final shot, a star map with 12 Dominion fleet outposts highlighted in red, targets, and a countdown. Meanwhile, on Earth, in a dark room deep beneath New Geneva, Earth's Strategic Command reviewed the footage. Admiral Sahar crossed her arms. You're sure that's Marcus? Yes, ma'am, said her aide. No doubt. And he's gone completely off script? He's not rogue, the aide said nervously. He's doing what we trained him for. Just, without leash or timeline. She stared at the screen, where Marcus stood in the wreckage of a destroyed Zorak base, holding a blade made from broken armor plating. No leash, she whispered. No fear. Then a smile touched her lips. No mercy. Somewhere Marcus Wren walked on. He'd stolen a stealth cruiser from Haven Prime's hangars. Reprogrammed it with his own override code. Grafted Zorak tech into his own biology. Taught their war machines to obey him. He was becoming something worse than a soldier. Worse than a weapon. He was becoming a legend. But Marcus didn't care about glory. He just wanted to reach the next Dominion target. Because if he stopped moving, if he allowed grief to catch up, he knew he'd fall apart. So he kept walking. And behind him the Dominion burned. When empires collapse, it's never all at once. It starts with a whisper, then a death. Then a name no one dares say aloud. Wren. Orbital Relay 714 Dominion Outpost, Vraxen Fold. Lieutenant Kazek clutched the edge of the tactical console as warning beacons blinked red across the interface. Impossible, he hissed. That relay was secured. A junior tech spun around. It's gone, sir. The relay self-destructed after being manually overridden. By who? The console answered for him. A single image projected across the bridge. A human, blurry and backlit, stepping through a fire-blackened corridor, wearing a cloak stitched from Dominion officer uniforms. Underneath it, a name. Marcus Wren. And below that, Target 3 neutralized. Kazak staggered back. He's hunting us. Deathwish doctrine. Wren didn't operate like a soldier anymore. He didn't hit command centers or fight clean battles. He hit food logistics. Fuel depots. Cryosleep transports full of fresh clones. He left trails of sabotage that only unraveled after weeks. Worm code in navigational AI, gravity wells misaligned by nanometers to shred orbit trajectories. He weaponized silence. The Dominion launched task forces to corner him. None returned. Instead they got scattered signals, garbled voices, screams, static. Sometimes only silence. He wasn't attacking the Dominion. He was infecting it. The Ghost Fleet. It began with anomalies in Sector Rock. Dominion patrols started vanishing. No explosions. No distress signals. Just sudden blackouts. When a recon squadron was finally dispatched to investigate, they found a graveyard of ships. Dozens of cruisers and frigates, floating dead, untouched by weapons fire. One had a message carved into its hull using fusion plasma. Ghosts don't fight fair. Wren had discovered abandoned Dominion AI cores. Corrupted them. Uploaded his own war logic. The Ghost Fleet wasn't real, it was software hijacking ship protocols. The Zorak began to fear their own systems. Anything with a power signature became a potential knife. A warrior answers the challenge. Dominion warlord Shractal, the apex gladiator, champion of 72 planetary duels, and the most feared personal combatant in the Zorak core worlds, requested one thing. A hunt. He broadcast a message to every fleet. You fought shadows. I will fight the man. Wren, if you are more than rumor, face me on Arcus 9. Alone. Or be remembered as a coward who kills in corners. The Dominion gave him command of 3 dreadnoughts and full autonomy. The trap was baited. But the problem with baiting Marcus Wren? You don't trap him. You invite him. Arcus 9 burns. Shractal's fleet waited for days, surrounding the gravity-sick moon of Arcus 9. Then the dreadnought Silent Glaive exploded from the inside. No exterior strike. It wasn't sabotage. It was Wren. He'd let himself be caught, hid in the ship's sewage tunnels for 14 days, then detonated its reactor manually, escaping through emergency escape tubes and rappelling across open space with nothing but an air tank and magnetic boots. By the time Shractal soldiers understood what was happening, Wren was already inside the command spire, clad in Dominion armor, helmet painted with the blood-red smile he wore at Theta 5. Hello, Shrak, Marcus said over comms. Come meet your monster. Duel of the Death Wish. The duel was recorded. It had to be. Dominion law demanded every warlord's fight be preserved for history. The footage was never released. But rumors spread. Shractal charged first, blades like lightning, reflexes hyper-accelerated by neural stims. The floor cracked beneath each strike. Ren dodged. Every time. Detached. He didn't match power with power. He used timing. When Shrak's right blade lodged in a column, Ren shattered his elbow. Then tore the stim injector from his spine. "Why don't you scream?" Shrak gasped. Ren leaned in, voice low. "Because I'm not scared of you." Then he broke his neck. Dominion panic. The death of Shractal wasn't just symbolic. It was catastrophic. The Apex title passed on death. With Shrak gone, the Blood clans spiraled into infighting. Entire border fleets refused orders, demanding war compensation. Trade guilds defected. Colonies blacked out. And through the smoke, Ren kept moving. His path wasn't erratic. It was surgical. Each strike crippled a different function: military, supply, diplomacy, morale. Admirals resigned. Officers defected. Dominion civilians began to ask questions no one dared ask before. Why is one man winning? What did we do to deserve this? Are we the bad ones? Transmission from the dead. A secret message intercepted on the edge of Dominion space. From unknown human source. To United Terran Strategic Command. Phase 2 complete. Moral fracture achieved. Suggest initiating psychological ops at scale. Recruits in 7 colonies willing to defect. Awaiting further orders. Attached. Footage of Dominion youth burning their academy uniforms, chanting in a dozen tongues. He walks. He kills. He frees. Strategic Command's response was simple. Proceed. The human agenda unmasked. It wasn't about revenge anymore. Ren's campaign was a mirror. He wasn't just exposing the Dominion's cruelty. He was showing their people how weak their masters were. How empty their dominance was. With each outpost he took, he didn't enslave or execute. He liberated. Then left. Sometimes leaving behind only weapons and a message. Use them better than they did. Toward the endgame, there were only 5 primary Dominion fleet nexuses left. One by one they began to vanish from long-range scans. Ren wasn't just killing fleets. He was erasing their existence. A new legend emerged in Zorak culture. The dead man comes. Children whispered it. Officers feared it. Even assassins sent after him vanished, turned or dead. And through all of it, Marcus Ren kept his eyes forward. Not because he was brave, but because he knew if he looked back he might stop. When the death wish becomes the only weapon left, even empires kneel. But Marcus Ren didn't come to be worshipped. He came to end it. Zorak Prime Throne of Fire. The capital planet of the Dominion burned low against the black. From orbit, its megacities shimmered like infected veins, half in power, half collapsing. Dominion Command had gone silent 3 days ago. No declarations. No fleets launched. Just a suffocating quiet. And then the sensors caught it. A single human life sign. Breaching orbital defense without a ship. Drifting down in a burning Dominion pod, sealed with the blood mark of Ren's own handiwork. The same insignia that had haunted the Dominion's last dozen fleet worlds. A laughing skull with Dominion medals nailed to its eyes. And beneath it, Ren's own message. No more thrones. Welcome party. They met him with an honor guard. 6 elites. 2 high warlords. 1 tribunal speaker. All armed. None smiled. Ren stepped from the pod wearing a hacked Dominion exo-rig, painted matte black, breathing with stolen biomechs, and powered by reactor cores ripped from 5 dreadnoughts. They scanned him for weapons. He let them. They found none. Because he was the weapon. Final confrontation. In the central tower of Zorak Prime, half-blasted, abandoned, more ashes than stone, they gathered what was left of the Dominion's leadership. Ren walked in without permission. He walked in like it was his house. Speaker Galovic rose from his throne of data cables and platinum bones. You think this means anything? He spat. A terrorist strutting into a dead empire? You've killed warriors, yes, but you haven't killed the idea of Dominion. Ren didn't speak. He walked to the center. Dropped a device on the floor. It blinked once. Then holograms flared, recordings, confessions, tactical breakdowns. Proof. From warlords and scientists. From politicians and priests. Child labor factories. Mind-erasing obedience programs. Planetary sterilizations. It was all there. Galovic blinked. Where did you get this? Ren looked up. From the ones who wanted out but were too afraid to run. The message heard across stars. The files uploaded automatically. Broadcast across Dominion-controlled sectors. The truth hemorrhaged into every system, and the people saw. What Ren had done wasn't madness. It was a scalpel, cutting out the disease, one cut at a time. The Dominion's own governors began surrendering. Militias disbanded. Warships turned around mid-transit. Slave worlds mutinied. And Ren? He stepped outside the throne chamber, looked at the twin sons. "Guess that's the last door," he murmured. They didn't arrest him. No tribunal. No shackles. No cage could hold him anyway. Instead, the surviving species of the core worlds convened. The Interstellar Accord had one question. What do we do with Marcus Ren? He never asked for a title. Never wanted amnesty. He just walked the edges of ruined fleets, helping survivors rebuild. Until one day even his boots went quiet. And yet, he's still seen. In fires that won't die. In colonies that now raise human and alien children together. In stories whispered around campfires on cold rim worlds. Don't be cruel. Don't rule with blood. Or the death wish man will come. They call him a ghost. A myth. But in truth he was never seeking death. He just wanted to live in a galaxy that deserved life. A final message from Earth. Years after the fall of the Dominion, a signal was sent to all allied species. It showed a single figure silhouetted under Earth's sky. No helmet. Just a scarred face. It was Marcus Ren. And his voice was calm. Humanity tried diplomacy. We offered kindness. Polite words. Compromise. But sometimes the polite mask breaks. And underneath, you find the part of us that doesn't stop. That doesn't die. The part that fights not because it wants to, but because it has to. If you ever forget what that looks like, I'll remind you. But God's help you if I have to. Epilogue, the statues we build. On the rim world of Calexa Prime, where Dominion slave pens once stretched 100 miles, a monument now stands. A human silhouette. Cloak of stitched enemy flags. And no name. Because Marcus Ren didn't fight for fame. He fought for a future. Call to action, subscribe. If you want more stories of humanity's raw, relentless power, of what happens when they push too far and humans push back harder, then subscribe to the Void Narratives. Every week, we drop tales from the edges of stars, where monsters rise, empires fall, and humans stand tallest not because of strength, but because when the universe gets dark, we walk through it. Subscribe now. We're just getting started. Let me know if you'd like an image based on this story or want to start your next HFY epic.